Good afternoon, students. Now I'm going to discuss the poem Poet, Lover, and the Birdwatcher by Nassim Ezekiel. The poem I have already emailed to all of you to go through it once, and now I'm going to explain the poem, and make a very close analysis of the poem. Right? If you have any questions, queries, kindly note them down. You can email them or WhatsApp or even give me a call to clarify your queries. So let's begin with the poem. The title of the poem is Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher. Right? It echoes Shakespeare's phrase, uh, lunatic lover and the poet, which he has used in Merchant of Venice. So Shakespeare had found certain kind of similarity between the poet, the lover, and the lunatic. Lunatic is somebody who is a madman, right? So the kind of uh, frenzy that you require to become a poet is found in a lover and a lunatic, right? So similarly, Nassim Ezekiel have found the close relationship between poet, lover, and birdwatcher. Right? Let's explore as to what kind of things he had tried to theorize by highlighting this relationship between the poet, lover, and birdwatcher. Right? So the poem goes like: "To force the pace and never to be still is not the way of those who study birds." Right? To force the pace. Right? He says that if you look at around yourself, the focus is a lot of focus is put on the pace, right, the movement, right. But in case of poet, lover, and bird watcher, right, movement is not the way that paves their ways, right. That means it's not the movement which is being highlighted in case of poet, lover, and bird watcher, or the movement is not always helpful in terms of uh, poet, lover, and bird watcher, right. It's a different kind of things, right. So for instance, if you look at the bird watcher, right, somebody who goes on shooting the rare birds, filming the rare birds, filming picture no, capturing in their cameras rare birds, right. So uh, if these people, the bird watcher is somebody who is always in a hurry, who keeps on moving, I think there are no chances that he could capture a very rare bird. So it requires a lot of patience. It requires stillness. It doesn't require pace and movement every time, right? So the case of bird watcher, for instance, is completely different from a common man who is always keep on moving and moving and trying to find out the new places, new things, etc. But the bird watcher is somebody who has to stand still, who has to wait in order to find out the rare bird, right. So the pace is not given importance here, rather quietness, calm, and silence is something which is given importance in order to capture a rare bird. Similarly, if you are a lover, right, if you keep moving from one woman to the other, right, you are hardly going to get your lover, right. So you need to focus, right, you need to be calm, you need to be patient, right, and keep on going one particular woman that you love, right. So in case of both bird watcher and lover, you need a lot of patience, you need a lot of silence, you need to hold your movement, right. You should not be a kind of a person who keep on flipping from one woman to the other, and in that case you may not be trusted by any woman at all, right. So you need a lot of patience, both in case of lover and the bird watcher. Now the last case is that of poet. The best poets wait for words, right. If you are a poet and you hurriedly write a poem without waiting for the words, right, the right words, there are chances or likely your poem would not be striking much. Your poem would not be very good, right? So in a similar manner, the bird watcher and the lover wait for the right moment, wait for the right click, wait for the right woman. In a similar manner, the poet should also have a lot of patience and wait for the right words to arrive. Right? So the common thread that appears in case of both all the three, poet, lover, and birdwatcher, is patience, calmness, and stillness. Right. So these are the three main. Uh, all the three are connected with these words, with these categories. Right? The hunt is not an exercise of will, right? It's not that you exercise your will. You want to capture a bird, you want to woo a woman, or you want to write a poem, and you can just go on and do this, right? So it's not exercise of will, rather, but patient love relaxing on a hill, right? But it's like you just relax on a hill, and that would be a height, that would be the height of your patience, right? Then only you can note the movement of a timid wing. That is the case of birdwatcher. When you keep on relaxing, quietness, calm, at the height of your patience, then only you can capture this movement of a timid wing. You can capture the picture of a rarer bird, right? Until the one who knows that she is loved. And similarly, in the case of a lover, it's a woman, as long as she doesn't believe, she's completely persuaded that she is being loved. She is loved by this particular lover, right? As long as she is not being convinced, right? You would not be, in order to, you would not be in a position to gain her love, right? So as the bird watcher patiently relaxes on a hill to capture the movement of a timid wing, the lover also waits and waits and waits until the woman is completely convinced by the fact that she is being loved. Just a moment, please. Yes. So, no longer waits but risks surrender. But the moment the woman is convinced that she is loved, she doesn't wait anymore, right? Rather, just surrenders, right? She no longer waits but risks surrender, right? So there's some kind of risk involved in surrendering, but still, the moment she finds that she is being loved, she surrenders. But only after trying the patience of the lover, right? In this, the poet finds his moral proved. Who never spoke before, his spirit moved, right? And similarly, in the case of the poet, his moral would be proved only when he finds the right words, the words that really move his spirit, right? So you see that in the case of the three, the poet, the lover, and the bird watcher, you need to have a lot of patience. In fact, what happens is that your achievement, as the capturing of the rarer bird, or wooing a woman, or writing a good poem, is an exercise of a lot of patience, right? So your achievement completely rests on uh, how much patience you have, right? And there are chances that there are poets, lovers, and bird watcher who leave the persuasion in between, right? And then the then they cannot achieve what they aimed to be, right? uh, Moving to the next stanza, it says the slow movement seems somehow to say much more, right? Again, the focus is not on the mundane hustle bustle and pace, rather the focus is on the slow movement. It says it seems to say much more. Much more simply means that your slow movement is going to give you what you desired, right? Unlike the people who keep on moving fast, right? Here it's the slow movement which would bring you your laurels, which would bring you your goals, right? to to watch the rare birds, like first in the case of the bird watcher, to watch the rare birds, you have to go along deserted lanes and where the rivers flow in silence near the source or by a shore, right? So the bird watcher had to go to different deserted places in order to capture the rarer birds. Birds are not to be found in the common places, in the city life, in the civilized places. Rather, they have to be found in deserted lanes near the riversides or near the seashore, right? So it's a kind of a place which is much isolated, uh, secluded, risky, right? So it requires a lot of risk, it requires a lot of patience, it requires to go to places which are not treaded by a common man, right? So the bird watcher has that kind of risk, has the kind of patience in order to capture the rarer bird, right? Remote and thorny like the heart's dark flow. In a similar manner, the lover had to go inside the 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 heart of the beloved, right? So it's got remote and thorny like the heart's dark floor. So the heart has been presented here, having the dark chambers through which you have to move, right? So it's not an easy task to woo a woman. Rather, you have to make your way through the heart of the woman, right? And then only she will be persuaded, she will be convinced that you love her, right? So the journey of both bird watcher and the lover has not been easy. It's tough, it's challenging, right? It tries your patience, it requires you to go to remote places, it requires to go to unknown places in order to achieve your goals, right? It's and there the woman slowly turn around. When you when you make your way through the heart of the woman, then only a woman moves, and then she turns around, right? Uh, I remember here a kind of story uh, where a deer was being followed by the hunter who wanted to kill that deer, right? And the deer is very fast. So what happens? The hunter kept on running after the deer, right? And for a longer period of time, for a larger, stake of the day, the hunter has been following the deer, and then ultimately he got tired, right? And he stopped chasing the deer, and then the deer looks back at the hunter, and then she comes to him, right? So it's similar kind of a thing between the lover and the beloved. The beloved tries your patience. How long can you follow me? How long can you persuade me? How long can you convince me? And then when the lover surrenders before the beloved surrenders before the lover. So it's like going to the dark, going to the unknown places, making a way to the heart of the woman, and then she's convinced that yes, now I'm being loved, and then she surrenders before the lover, right? And sense is found with darkness at the core, and sense is found, and then only is some kind of sense is found by the poets also. But poets lost in crooked, restless flight. But he warns here that the poets who lose their um, lose their patience, they have been compared with crooked poets, right? Not very good kind of, right? Who are involved in restless flight, who kept on writing whatever comes to their mind instead of waiting for the right words, right? So this is not the right poets, right? Rather, they should be, or the poet highlights says that the deaf can hear and the blind recover the sight, right? Rather, they should wait for the words which might bring about the kind of a sense where the deaf can hear and blind can recover the sight. In such a kind of poems should be written by the poet, which can be brought about only with the practicing of your patience, patience for the right words, right? And this is precisely what happens. So this is the end of the poem, and if you have any doubt about the poem, please contact me. Thank you.